So I'm all set up, ready to go. But I'm a massive pussy when it comes to like cold water. The water's actually like 21 degrees at the moment. It's pretty warm. But I'm gonna be wearing my wetsuit top. Yeah. Only because I'm a girl and I need to stay warm in the water. It should be fun though. It actually looks pretty fun out there now. The sun's pretty cool. Yeah, it should be good. Should be good times ahead. Oh, guess who it is? My vlogger girlfriend. Of course you call while I'm trying to video record. I'm gonna call her back and I'll talk to you in a sec. So I was pretty happy with that session. I ended up getting some pretty cool photos. So I'm gonna post those photos up on probably my private page, which is KJ Tilts, which I'll probably write down here or put in a link in the description. My other work is adrift.i or adrift imagery. That's a lot more my commercial stuff. So go check them out. Check out the photos that I took. I'm now back home. There's a fly in my room. What is that? Like a bee. Anyway. I'm back home now. I've cleaned out all my gear and I just thought that why not go through some of the stuff that I used today and some of my housing gear. I shoot with all Canon gear. That's just what I've shot with the whole entire time. So with my settings, I'm shooting at ISO 100. My aperture was 1.4. I used that aperture just because I was trying to get an artistic look and a really depth focus on a certain particular area today. It was mainly going to be used in the water, but when I got out of the water, it ended up being okay anyway. The problem with using that aperture, I was finding that it was overexposing. So next time, if I was to wanted to use that aperture again, try and get that artistic look that I was going for, I would have to either wait for really early in the morning or really late in the afternoon or overcast day. So that's that, just for settings. Hello! This is my aquatech housing. It suits my Canon 5D Mark III. Like I said before, had it for about 1.5 years now. I am so happy with it. It is awesome. You would have seen at the end in my little GoPro edit that I just did before, you would have seen me washing it out. I always do that. As soon as I get out of the water, I try to get some just clean water to it straight away. Try and wash off all the salt and the sand because that shit erodes everything. Then when I get home and I've taken it all apart, what I'll do is I'll get a wet rag and I'll just wipe down all the little rings. So you can see these little red rings here and then in the front, okay? That's just to keep them nice and clean because these are the main parts that keep your housing or your camera dry. So it's important to look after all those little bits and pieces, okay? So that's the main housing. I was using the top trigger today. I do have the bottom trigger release as well. It's just a little button if you can see that there. So basically I put a shutter release cable into my camera, just this little one here, suited for the 5D, and I plug that inside the housing, just at that part just there. Awesome, really awesome. Onto the back element of the housing. This is it here. There is a heap of little buttons and bits and pieces. Okay, so first of all, the back button, auto-focusing button, which I try to use as much as possible because I just like the freedom that button gives you, okay? You press that in, you hold it in on your focus point, you move your camera to wherever you want to be so you can go rule of thirds or whatever you're trying to do, and yeah, then you shoot away on the trigger. I can switch between movie mode with this button here. I can record and stop recording with that button as well. A few other settings. I can adjust with this button as well, a few other settings as well. Also viewing mode. modes. I can zoom in and out, I can view my photos, and I can scroll through my photos with this one as well. So that's really cool. You got a lot of control on the back of your camera, so that's cool. Onto ports. You would have seen me using this front element on my housing. It's meant for my 24-70 lens. So you get these two pieces together for the 24-70 lens f2.8. They basically just screw together. And then you screw that onto the front of your housing, and then that suits that lens. Okay, so I just took my middle piece off, which I love that Aquatech have done this, because it means that I don't have to go out and buy 100 different front elements to suit all my different lenses, okay? I can just buy in-between pieces, and these cost about $250, and then the front elements can go from about $500 up to about $800, which is dome port, which I'll talk about next, is about $800. I think this was together was about $800. So yeah, it can get quite expensive. Another cool little piece of equipment that came in my 24-70 is this thing here. That just loops onto the zoom, and then I am able to have creative control over my zoom. That puts on the zoom, then this little button inside here, this thing here, pop, 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 you can see the little grooves, locks into it. I can then twist and zoom in and out. How sick is that? That is so sick. I was at an event on the weekend. I was shooting a yacht club social, so I was swimming in between boats, and I just like the diversity of a 24-70 lens. I love being able to go really wide out, get nice group shots, and then zoom right in and get nice portrait type of things as well. So I had that lens on majority of the day, and I was able to zoom in and out and do all my things, and it was just sick. It was, yeah, that was really cool, really cool. The last port that I have is a big dome port. I can't remember what it's called. P60 or 65 or 80 or something like that, whatever. It's massive. You can see the circumference there. Basically with this port, it allows me to do over-under shots. I have a Sigma 15mm lens, f2.8. I'll throw that on. So basically when you throw your housing into the water, wherever that water level sits, that's where you'll get your over-under shot, okay? So what it's doing is it's holding the water off from the lens, and then the lens is, because it's wide and gets this big view, you're able to see above and below. I've got some really cool shots. I think there's something, most of them are up on my Adrift imagery. Go check them out there. I did this one up in Byron. I was out in the water, I was shooting, because there was a big bunch of dolphins out there, and I kept trying to swim up really close to the dolphins because I wanted to get some sea life, and every time I swam close to them, they would swim away. It was a nightmare trying to get up close. But there was this one shot that I did where I did an over-under shot, and it was just a surfer up in the background there surfing along the wave. From a distance, I didn't realize until I got home that when I shot that photo, there was actually like 3 dolphins swimming in underneath the wave underneath him. I had to expose them a bit in Photoshop and that, but it was like, it's like one of the sickest images I've ever taken, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without this housing, this little port here. So I really think this is cool. You can get some really cool stuff with this type of things. The other plus to it is when I'm underwater, I'll always throw this dome port on, because for some reason, it just works better underwater. I don't know why. There's probably some technical reason, but dome ports work better underwater. There you go, all right? So when using the 2 different ports, okay, they call this one a wet port, and they call this one a dry port. If you bring this out of the water for too long, what happens is you get like the little salt dots that will dry up, little droplets of salt, and then your lens will try and focus in on those dots on the front of the element there. Every time I've got this on, I keep it underneath the water. And as soon as I want to shoot an over-under shot or above the water, I'll lift it up, boom, 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 shoot, and then drop it back down underneath, just to stop anything drying up and getting that confusion with autofocus and stuff like that. So that's just a little fun fact for you if you ever get one of these. Dry port, not so great underneath the water, perfect up top, mainly because it's quite close to the lens, so the lens sort of blurs past the fact that there is dry spots on the front of it. Like I said, I was using this on the weekend at an event, and all the shots have basically came out perfect, as if I didn't even have anything around my camera. So yeah, that's my housing. If you have any questions about housings or camera gear or anything like that, just mention in the comment below, and I'm happy to trial some things out for you guys and answer a few questions about housings, because it is an expensive thing to buy, and I had a lot of questions when I was trying to work out what to get. So now for the rest of the day, I've got to go edit an event that I shot on the weekend, a wedding I shot on the weekend, put a wedding album together. I've got so much to do today, like so much to do. So I'm gonna go do that quickly. I'm gonna try and smash out as much of that as I can for a few hours. Then we're gonna go head up to the gym. I'm gonna do back day. Yeah, should be fun. So we'll talk soon.